So I threw something out Friday, and I kind of went back and forth with people on Twitter yesterday at Dan Sileo show, and we were talking about the best teams since 2000 in the NFC. And then, of course, you have Seahawks fans that are jumping on there going, well, the Seahawks are 8-1 or 9-1, whatever it is, against Philly. I go, that wasn't the statement. I don't give a shit what your record is versus Philly. Since 2000, there's only one team that has more wins than the Philadelphia Eagles. Here they are. And by the way, the Rams, I didn't even add it up because you know why? The Rams suck. Their record is terrible. It's even worse than the Buccaneers. And what I did was I went back to 2000, and all NFC teams that have won Super Bowls are on this list. These are your teams that have won Super Bowls or Super Bowl, been to Super Bowls, and have the best record since 2000. The Packers, 231. Well, you got Favre and you have Rodgers. You better have a hell of a record. The Eagles, 217 victories since 2000. They are second. The Saints, since 2000, 211 victories. Drew Brees. The Seahawks, you got to remember something now. The Seahawks came back to the NFC in 2002. So in theory, they have 195 wins. But I went ahead and gave them the 2 years in the AFC. Remember, they did conference realignment. They were in the AFC. They were originally an NFC team. Then they put them in the AFC. Then they moved them back to the NFC in 2002. They have 210 victories. The Giants have 177 victories. And the Buccaneers have 170. And the Rams, I didn't even add it up. It's so bad. There's so many 2-win seasons. Even though they've had some success as of late being in Los Angeles, there were a lot of lean years in between the Super Bowl in St. Louis and current run, what they're doing right now. Rams don't really have a great regular season record, so they're 7th. Now you look at what they've done, the Packers. Packers have had 2 great quarterbacks, absolutely. It's been more about the quarterbacks than the coaches in that building. Mike Holmgren's a great coach. If I had to say which coach was probably the best coach of all this group here, you'd probably say Holmgren here a little bit. Because Holmgren also was part of the Seahawks' success. Remember, Mike went to Seattle and had some success in Seattle. Seattle's a really good organization. John Schneider and those guys, new ownership now, but John Schneider and Pete Carroll have been great there. The Giants, the Mara family and the Tisch family, I think they've fallen off a little bit since Reese hasn't been the general manager and Tom Coughlin's not in the building, but they're getting it back. They're kind of trying to roll it back. They had a turnaround season last year. The Buccaneers with the Glazers are good owners. They're good owners. Just fall on hard times sometimes hiring the right guy. You know, the one thing about the 2 teams at the top, though, they seemingly hired the right guy. And they made really great judgments on quarterbacks. Remember something, Favre didn't initially start his career in Green Bay. He was an Atlanta Falcon. They made a trade. Ron Wolf made a trade for him and brought him to Green Bay. The Eagles have done it with 3 different coaches, 3 different quarterbacks, 3 different generations of players, really, and they consistently go to Super Bowls. They're consistently at the top of the list at the NFC East. They got the best. I think they've won 85 ball games since 2000 in the NFC East. So, everyone start then lining up records versus the Eagles. That's not what the comment was. I didn't say what your record was versus Seattle or what your record was versus the Packers. I said the best franchise in the NFC were the Philadelphia Eagles since 2000. And I do think that still. I do. You know why? You know why I would take the Eagles over the Packers? They got an owner. They actually have an owner. And it's not quarterback reliant. What you guys have done in Philadelphia since 2000 has not been because of one particular player. It's been because of one particular owner. And that owner wants to win and own the NFC East. Jerry Jones worries about TV ratings, overpaying his players, not getting to a conference championship has got to kill the guy. Eventually, again, like Tone says, you just can't put your name on the test and go, hey, I passed. The Cowboys haven't passed the test in 30 years. The Eagles are fighting every single year, it seems. A couple down years on winning the NFC East and making some hay in the postseason. It's a great run organization. Okay? It's a great run organization. Second in wins, the Super Bowl appearances, the NFC Conference Championship games they've been to. The postseason success is better than Packers' success. Packers get home field advantage and blow it. How many times did we watch Aaron Rodgers blow it, especially over the last couple of years here? Right? That starts all with that owner in Philadelphia. Jeffrey Lurie's been a great owner. Great owner. Believes in a culture like Pat Riley does down with the Heat. Can you? What gets me about Pat Riley and Jeffrey Lurie and with Howie Roseman, these guys are all about the team. It's all about the team and the culture. Dude, the Miami Heat, would we not agree, are the least talented team of the final four teams that are left in the NBA playoffs, right? They're the least. But man, they got a war dog in that Jimmy Butler dude. He is the best leader of the final four teams. Jokic, all them guys. He is an assassin. And get this, doesn't he remind you of Jalen Hurts? This guy doesn't give a shit about numbers. Doesn't care about the regular season. He just cares about winning. Jimmy Butler and Jalen Hurts have a lot in common. Man, it's all about his teammates. It's all about winning. It's right. 11. With Butler and Hurts, dude, like Ricky Bobby says, if you ain't first, you're last. And I believe that's how those guys think. Someone was asking Butler the other day, hey, did you think when you guys were in the playoffs that you were going to roll it back and you were going to win the way you're winning? He's like, you're damn right I did. Telling you, man. And you know why more people are watching the NBA playoffs now? Because you got guys like Jimmy Butler and you got teams like the Miami Heat. Isn't that cool? Those guys aren't playing just to win a championship. You know what they're playing for? They're playing for the Heat culture, their jobs. They're more in fear that Pat Riley's going to find someone else to replace them. And those guys are playing for fear. You know what the fear is? You may not have your job because he can find someone else. So you're constantly playing in fear. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, man, when you're starving and you've got to feed your family, you'll do a lot more things than when you're sitting at home on a comfy couch. I'd like to have a couple guys like that on my team. You're in fear of everything that's around you. You're in fear of your job. You see, in Dallas, they're not afraid of their jobs. Place like Philadelphia, you can be replaced and you will be. They'll pull the carpet out from you. I think this is such a great lesson in cultures. Okay, when I watch the Nuggets play, I go like this. Oh, they haven't been there, and you can see it sometimes. I get a little nervous. When I watch Butler pull your heart out and just shit all over you, and then you start talking shit to him, worst thing you could do. This guy's Jordan. It's like watching Michael Jordan. Or Kobe Bryant. When I watch Jimmy Butler play, it's like watching Kobe Bryant. He reminds me of Kobe Bryant. Kobe's more talented, I think. I'm just saying, man. I think. Just, man. That guy is just something else to watch. That's a dog culture. It is, Callie. And I so appreciate that when you get a culture like that. Dude, Neil, he is a Jordan. All right. I wrote down 10 questions. OTAs are next week for the Eagles. 10 questions I have for your 2023 Philadelphia Eagle team. And I'm going to ask you if you think these come to facts and become facts. I've got a question, 10 of them. Let's start it out. And I'm going to keep this right here all year. 10 questions, 10 burning questions about the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles. Here we go. Will Jalen Hurts play 17 games? I'm saying no. Here, I'm going to put Big Sills and you. I say no. I say he doesn't because he hasn't. Do you think he plays? And not sitting issues like, you wrap up home field and he's a healthy sit. I'm talking about injury. Okay. All right. 15. His ass better plays. 14. I think we're all in agreement. He's not going to play 17 games. There's going to be a nick or two this year. Hey, it wasn't devastating last year that he got hurt. He was tremendous in the Super Bowl. It's just a question. Here's question number 2. Will Hurts throw for 4K and 30 touchdowns in 2023? Remember, you just answered he's not going to play a full season. Does he throw for 4,000 yards, becoming only the second Philadelphia Eagle to throw for 4K? And does he put 30 touchdowns in the air in 2023? Not likely. 30 TDs, not the 4K? If anything, I think it's more the 30 touchdowns and not the 4K. That's a good question, too. Which one of these does he do? 30 touchdowns or 40 or 4K? I like that question, too. Because 40 touchdowns and 30. Hey, 30 touchdowns and 4K, it's a pretty good season, dude. Okay? And by the way, if he did something like that, Josh Allen, move over. Just move over. If he did that, move over. Move over. Because I'm sure there's going to be 800 yards behind that, rushing the ball too. Just move over. If he does something like that. 3,999, 35 touchdowns. I say this. There's not a chance he's going to go for 4K and 30 touchdowns in the same season. No way. No. All 17 because he has a better running back core. No way. You don't have a better running back core. Yeah, the guy last year had 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns. Guy went to the Pro Bowl. So you have a Pro Bowl back there? You have a committee. Does he get paid more for that? 11. Probably there's incentives in his contract that say that. Probably there's incentives in there. Okay. Speaking of running back, will the Eagles have a 1,000-yard runner this year? And for the record, so you know, I love DeAndre Swift. I think it was a great trade. I absolutely love that move. I'm a huge fan of that move. Okay? You think you have 1,000-yard back. Tony, you think they have 1,000-yard back this year? If he has 800 yards, then he'll get 4K passing. He's not getting 4,000 yards passing, missing games. You guys already said it. Okay? And I don't want Jalen to run for 1,000 yards. When you have a running back, I don't believe you're going to have 1,000-yard running back this year. And nor do you, really. I think Swift is going to have a lot of total offense, though. Like, I could see DeAndre Swift about 1,700 yards in total offense. Okay? Yeah, me too, Tone. I think there's I think Swift is going to be like 1,500 yards, somewhere near an all-purpose. So, I mean, actually could be an upgrade because you're going to have a screen game. Penny is good when healthy. Wake me up when he's healthy. Here's an interesting one. These are questions for the 2023 Eagles. I'm asking all of you. Will the Eagles have 3 pass catchers with 1,000 yards? Will you have 3? Goddard, Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown. What do you think? Will the Eagles have 3,000-yard pass catchers? If I'm not mistaken, I think Dallas Goedert, if he hadn't gotten hurt, I think he'd have been right there at 1,000 yards too. You could have had 3 guys maybe. Wouldn't that have been crazy? And Hurts would have probably been over 4K. Wasn't he somewhere around 3,700, even with missing games? Probably could have been right around that number, right? Hopefully 2. Can you imagine if you have 2 years in a row with 2 dudes with 1,000 yards? I would make this comment to you if that happens, that A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, probably your best duo pass catchers in Philadelphia Eagle history. I think you guys are going to be pretty close. I'm with you. I could see Dallas Goedert at 900 yards. And I think you might. I think you might have 3 pass catchers with 1K. Think about that for a minute. I'm saying he's not going to throw for 4,000 yards, but you may have 3 dudes with 1,000 yards in catching yards. 2 receivers and a tight end. I struggled on this one because I think they could. Will the Eagles have 3 pass catchers with 1K? A healthy Goddard is over 1,000. Oh, wait a minute. Look at what Game 7's saying. He says, I'm leading the witness. All these trick questions are designed so Dan can later, you fans said, don't fall for it. That's not true. That's not true. Dude, what do you think? I'm one of those Philadelphia media guys that set up Jalen Carter? Come on, man. Philly 500, what up, man? Philly 500 goes Big Sills. I think Devontae Smith will be a top 5 wide receiver this year. Hey, Philly, we've been asking this question here. I got 10 questions for the 2023 Eagles. Will Hurts play 17 games? I'm saying no. Will Hurts throw for 4K and 30 touchdowns in the same year? I said no. Will the Eagles have 1,000-yard back? I'm saying no. And we're here now. Will the Eagles have 3 pass catchers with 1,000 yards? Dan. Let me think. Hey, Tone, this is going to be nutty. Philly, I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to have 3 pass catchers over 1,000 yards this year. Thank you, Game 7. I'm circling that one. I think you are, man. Dallas Goedert would have had 1,000 yards this year or this past season. Okay? He would have had 1,000 yards last year. Okay. Question number 5. Will the Eagles have 3 defensive players with double-digit sacks? Yes or no? Philly 500. Yes, sir. Will the Eagles have 3 players with double-digit sacks? Nolan Smith, I'm picking to lead the Eagles in sacks because they'll put him situationally.